Hi there, welcome to this video. You're gonna hear music around because I'm in my happy place, I'm at work, so there will be music in the background. But I did mention in my first video about diabetes, managing diabetes, I did mention that I might have more videos about it. So today I'm going to be speaking about Ozempic. So I was not going to do a video on Ozempic at all, mainly because I am on it and there is a lot of negative connotations still about it. I assumed because the boom happened, I think in about 2023 or end of 2022 when it was the new weight loss thing and everybody was using it and not only diabetics. And it became such a big thing that I was like, I didn't actually want to admit that I used it, which I guess is human. I didn't want people thinking negatively about me. Oh, you need to lose weight, so you're on Ozempic. Sorry for my voice. The thing is, yes, I was put on Ozempic by my doctor because I did pick up quite a lot of weight. The few years before, between 2020 and 2022. But I think a lot of people did because of COVID. You were at home, you were in isolation, you were in or lockdown, and you ate more. So I picked up weight, and that's also, I think I did say in the previous video that I am on the insulin resistant drug as well, because I became insulin resistant because I picked up weight. So I was put on Ozempic, firstly to control my blood sugar better, because my sugar wasn't too high, it actually went too low sometimes, and Ozempic does help it throughout the night, because I had a lot of nightly hypoglycemic episodes where Stephen had to wake me and force me to drink Coke or to, eat something with sugar because I was completely out of it. So the Ozempic completely took care of that, and also so it manages your sugar very, very well, and it was made as well. It was also because when they noticed the side effect that the semiglutide in it has, which makes you lose weight, it became very good for type 2 diabetics, because a lot of type 2 diabetics are overweight. So currently type 2 and some type 1 diabetics use Ozempic to control their sugar, and type 2 diabetics for the weight loss side effect that it has. Well, not really a side effect. They knew it would have that effect. So I originally didn't want to do a video about it because I didn't want to admit that I'm on it. But I'm at that point where, it really helps me, and I have lost weight. So it is a very, very nice thing to be on. But the one thing that's very important to know is that if you go off Ozempic, you will pick up all that weight again. So this is a lifelong thing. It's like Ozempic is technically a kind of insulin in a way. It also so you will literally pick up that weight again if you stop using it. The other thing that people also don't understand about Ozempic is that you have to exercise if you're on Ozempic. It is very important that you do exercise. You can't just use Ozempic and think, oh, I'm going to lose this much weight. You will lose the weight, but you will, if you don't keep exercising, and you might not find stock of it, or you might not be able to get Ozempic, you will immediately pick up the weight again. If you keep on doing the exercise, you might stay on the weight that you are, but you might not pick up all the weight again because you do exercise. So Ozempic and exercises, it's very important that you do relatively regular exercise if you're on Ozempic. Now, let's talk about what it is. So Ozempic is a semiglutide injection that also works like insulin. It's a what they call an anti-diabetic medication. It's got the GLP-1 agonist in. So a GLP-1 GLP stands for glucagon-like peptide. It is a type of, it mimics the GLP-1 that's in your body already, which diabetics have less of because our pancreas doesn't make insulin anymore. It's a receptor that makes your insulin be more active in the blood. So it heightens the amount of insulin that you either inject or that your pancreas still makes. So a lot of diabetics that's been on Ozempic for a while tends to, the amount of insulin that they have to inject, the type 1 diabetics, the amount of insulin that they have to inject becomes less. For example, I was in 2022, I had to inject 14 units 3 times a day, or at least 14 units for a big meal, 12 units for a smaller meal, maybe 10 units if I ate very little. But it was always, my script, what stood on my script was 14 units 3 times a day of insulin, of short working insulin, not the long working insulin. That's also less. I think I explained the difference last time. The short working insulin, when you have to eat, you have to inject it, and the long working is just once a day. The short working insulin, my short working insulin at the moment is on 8, 3 times a day. And it's not even always 8. 8 is for a big meal, and even sometimes then it's too much. For a very small meal, a sandwich or something like that, I inject 4 units, maybe 3 units now. So it really, it lowers the amount of insulin that you have to inject, which is also actually good for you, because insulin is the insulin that we inject is a synthetic insulin. It's not natural. So it is better to have to inject less of it. Yes, so the Ozempic itself is a semiglutide injection that also makes your food digest slower. So technically your metabolism gets slower, but it's a good thing because it means you're not hungry that often. Another thing that insulin does is it makes you hungry. So the Ozempic makes you less hungry, which means you'll eat less. I think I did mention last time how my meals work and how much I eat. Maybe I even admitted that I'm on Ozempic. I can't remember. And I'm not going to watch the video now. So Ozempic have this, that it's a thing that firstly increases your insulin levels. As I said, it mimics the GLP-1 cells in your body that take in insulin and that uses the insulin better. So it is for diabetics, but because it slows your digestion and it doesn't make you get hungry, it helps with weight loss. But you also have to exercise, and you have to use the Ozempic correctly, which we'll get to a little bit later in the video. Now, Ozempic has actually been, or not Ozempic, semiglutide injections they were clinical trials already in 2008. So it's quite a long time ago that they realized what GLP-1 does and what the semiglutide injections could help diabetics with. The trials for specifically Ozempic, because that was the brand name that was given to it, those trials started in January 2016, and in May 2017 it ended, and then it was FDA approved in the USA in December of 2017, just before December in 2017, because they were starting to put it on the market in December 2017. So it seems very quick, but from 2008 until 2016, they kept researching it. So technically, they've been researching the semiglutide and the injections for very, very long. So it's not something, because I remember seeing a lot of videos on Ozempic, and because when I started using it, it suddenly popped up, of course, on my YouTube and popped up everywhere because I was talking about it. And I remember seeing all these negative videos, and Ozempic is going to kill you, and stuff like that was very negative. And you use Ozempic because you have to lose weight. Yes, some type 2 diabetics use it because they need to lose weight. Yes, because then they will become less insulin resistant. They will become healthier. And I mean, obesity is unfortunately a real problem at this. It was never a real problem until 10 years ago, because then they started realizing it's a chronic condition. And yes, I mean, you can get yourself to not get to that situation, but for a lot of diabetics, type 2 diabetics, COVID had a very big influence on it, because we started eating more, which means we had to inject more insulin, got more hungry. It was a vicious circle. So a lot of us, and wasn't just diabetics, it was normal people that ate a lot because they were just home. And they became, some of them became diabetics, or they just became very obese. Maybe not necessarily diabetics, but they became obese. And Ozempic helped with that. But when I started seeing videos about the Hollywood celebrities starting to use Ozempic, and it did this for me and it did that for me, and I realized that people who are not obese at all, they are in fact, they look healthy. They started using Ozempic because they felt, I can lose that last few pounds, or sorry, pounds is not really South African, that lost 2 kilograms, I should lose that. There are other ways to do it. Ozempic was not the option for those. It shouldn't have been an option for those people. But okay, it did happen now, and Ozempic has a lot of negative connotations still. That's why I'm making this video, because I didn't realize that a lot of people still don't understand it. I thought by this time people would understand it. No, I was wrong. A lot of people still don't understand how it works and how you have to use it. So because of all those negative things, when I started using it, my family knew. Those were the people who knew. I didn't tell anybody else because I was so afraid of being judged, which is very silly at my age. I shouldn't worry about feeling judged anymore. Anyway, so the trials, the Ozempic was officially starting to be sold in December 2017. I think it was only came to South Africa. I didn't actually check this data. I think only in 2021 that it came to South Africa. So it was first used in the USA and, other countries, the UK and countries like that. South Africa only got hold of it after COVID. But I mean, still, it had a long study to it, and there are still studies being done to it, and studies being done with other semiglutide injections, because they saw now how amazing it is and how much it works. So people can also not say that Ozempic has only been used this long, and how do we know the long-term effects? We know long-term effects because 2008, it was quite a while ago. So yes, it's been studied extensively for almost 20 years. Now, one more thing that I want to just say about Ozempic is the whole myth, well, not a myth, but the whole thing that people say or keep saying, oh, it's going to kill you. Ozempic is meant to be injected once a week at the specific dosage that your doctor prescribes. There were people that got very sick from Ozempic because they injected more than once a week. It's very important that if you're on and this is for all medications, if you're on medication, do not change it yourself unless you are, a doctor. Then you, of course, know that how you can change it. If you are not a doctor or medical professional, do not change your own medication, because different medications have different side effects. And Ozempic has other side effects as well, especially nausea is one of the side effects. I got very nauseous when I started using it, but I mean, it went away. That is a reason why a lot of people got very negative effects they very negative side effects because of Ozempic. They were not using it correctly. It's a once a week injection at the prescribed amount of units that your doctor prescribes. I just want to make that clear, that Ozempic doesn't kill you unless you use it incorrectly. But that is the case for a lot of medications. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you learned something more about Ozempic and the effects of it. In following videos, I will probably share a little bit more about new studies that are being done with semiglutide injections that include Ozempic, and the very positive results that it seems to be yielding. So have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one.